For someone listening who feels off but doesn't have a diagnosis, what are some signs that their autonomic nervous system might be dysregulated?
Yes, it's so much of my work was there because my autonomic nervous system, that's the nervous system of the body that's automatic, right? Autonomic, it works all by itself. You don't have to make it happen. You don't have to focus on it. It's already in control. It's got that. But when that starts to break down and the symptoms multiply, we do need to focus on it. But a lot of my work was to figure out why. What just happened? Why did that happen? And ultimately came to recognize that certain types of chronic inflammatory states will kick out chemicals, and some of those chemicals interfere with that part of the nervous system. And when they do, the symptoms can be systemic. It's a bigger problem than just one aspect. It tends to go across the board. So a lot of that journey was in figuring out the chemistry of how that was happening, how the nervous system was affected, exactly what we still had to work with, and what could we do to get that going again. Yeah, and I'm happy to say at this point I have 5 patents on this. Ultimately, when I figured this out, I thought, "I think this is new. I don't think anybody's ever figured this out before."
Mhm.
So that was very validating getting that, but we have ways now we can correct that problem, but patients are usually inflammatory patients,
Mm.
and they're considered invisible because our ability to measure a lot of those inflammatory chemicals is still in its infancy. So the traditional markers for chronic inflammation like CRP and sed rate is usually fine. We have to go deeper. And once all that is figured out and it's all in publications, it's in medical school, et cetera, we won't have these invisible illnesses
Mhm.
and we'll change the labels, right?
Mhm.
Chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia,
Yes.
thoughts, et cetera, is not indicative of what the treatable aspect of that is.
Mhm.
Patients won't lack the validation they lack today. Yeah. It's just a process.
Yes. And I feel like a lot of people are dealing with some kind of inflammation to some degree, especially the way our foods are, the way our stress levels are. There's inflammation because there's so much crap in our foods and then spraying from the skies and stuff. So everyone's dealing with some kind of inflammation. And I know you talk about inflammaging, which I think is such a powerful concept. What is actually happening in the body as we age?
Yes. And this is not my word.
Mhm.
When I was looking at inflammation at the time as a patient, I just kind of felt like I was dealing with inflammation, which is a weird feeling, but indeed that's what it was. We can dig into research since research is usually about 15 years ahead of practitioners. So I went into the research to see what is already figured out, what do we know and how can we take it to the next level. But one thing I came across was as we get older, systemic inflammation gradually increases, and it has to do with the senescence of cells, et cetera. But what we accept, and I don't think we should, Nancy, is that it's a normal part of aging and it leads to these old age illnesses like, tendency to develop heart attacks, strokes, fatigue, digestive problems, et cetera. I don't think we should accept that.
Mm-mm.
I think instead, if we can do everything we can do to address the inflammation, control it, control the autonomic nervous system response to some of those chemicals, that we have a chance of leading a much better life as we get older. I don't think we should accept old age illnesses as just a normal part of aging. So I'm on a personal mission.
Mhm.
I'm very proactive with my health because I don't ever want to feel like that again.
No.
And if I can live a great life, high energy level, healthy until the day I die, I'm going to do everything I can do.
Mhm. That's quite the mission. Yes, because you experienced it firsthand, how not living in alignment with yourself and your body can do, and it's debilitating. Just totally, yeah. What can you do? I mean, when you're not feeling good, like nothing else matters. Money, things, nothing matters. And I know there's people that are dealing with inflammation right now or these unknown symptoms, and they're going through a lot of what you've gone through about being, not having a diagnosis for these things.